Let me guess. You've been using past papers to study for your GCSEs, but every time you do a past paper, you keep making the same mistake on and on again in the next past paper. How do you fix this? Use an effective past paper technique. That is exactly what I'm going to show you guys in this video. Hey guys, and welcome back to Biologue. Hope you're having a great day and a great week. In this video, we're going to be looking at the most effective method to smash those past paper questions. Ensure that you're doing your past papers correctly and effectively so that you can get the most out of them, and by the end of it, at your GCSE exam, you get that grade 9. Alright, first things first, believe it or not, there is a correct method to do past papers, and there is a method that works the most effectively. I like to call this the mistake book method. Essentially, when you open up a past paper, go to your specification website, open up a past paper, you look at the general sort of question topics that are coming up, and you make a key or a legend, a table with those topic names and how many times that question, a question has come up in that topic. Have two exam mark tracking systems. The first one should be an online system, for instance an Excel spreadsheet that consists of the topic, the number of marks allocated to that topic, or the number of questions that that particular past paper exam has, and the number of marks that you've been getting or the number of questions you've been getting wrong in that particular topic. This will help you identify whether that topic is one of your weaker topics or one of your strengths. Your second system should be a in-person handwritten system. So I like to use something called a mistake book. Essentially, it is a physical book like this. So you have your questions and answers, examiner response answers that are directly copied from the examiner's report, the mark scheme, copy pasted onto this book. Now make sure that you sort this out by topic so that then when you're skimming through for exam revision, you can just go to that particular topic that you're finding difficult, the topic that you're weakest at, and just go through the questions that you got wrong. That will help you maximize your marks in your GCSE exams and make sure that you don't make as many mistakes. You don't make the same mistake again and again. My second tip for you guys is to do a summary table for the topics that you're weak at. So once you've done your past paper questions or topical questions and you've identified what topics you're weakest at, make sure that you go through your textbook, go through your resources, existing resources like summaries that exist on the internet. Make sure that you try to understand, what the general gist, general idea of that topic is. This is something called priming, essentially where you get a general idea of the topic and, the overview of the topic. Once that is done, only then you move into the specific details of that topic. So make sure that you have now that summary sheet that you've printed off of, let's say, past paper, exam websites like Physics and Maths Tutor or Save My Exams. Make sure you have that summary sheet and then do your own summary sheet. So I like to call this a summary table or a summary sheet, and this technique is called blurting. I got it from Unjaded Jade, the study tube queen herself. She recommended this study technique called blurting, where essentially you write down everything you know about that topic onto a piece of paper and you compare it with the original copy of the summary from that past paper exam website, and you see what you've missed. What you've missed is what you should be focusing on. So for the areas that you've missed, you write it down on your new summary sheet in a different color. Let's say you write it down in a red colored pen. So in this way, what you now have is a summary sheet of all of your mistakes, all of the things that you do not know, and essentially you keep repeating this process of blurting until your summary sheet, your blurted table or mind map looks identical to the copy or the summary sheet that you printed off of the online website. Tip number 3 is a tip that genuinely shocked me during my GCSEs. If I did not know this tip, I probably would not have gotten all of my definitions right on the exam. Make sure that you look at your specification. Now, some specifications in GCSEs, for instance, if you're doing the International GCSE, IGCSE, your specification will have the definition required by the examiner printed on the specification paper. So if you look at it, it'll be like the topic, and you've got the dot points that you need to memorize. Make sure that you have that packed down. Make sure you have it written down somewhere, whether it's your Anki flashcards or physical flashcards that look like this, for instance. I would do a lot of physical flashcards where I'd have the term and I'd have the exact copy of the examiner definition from my specification over here. So once I memorized this, there was no way I was going to lose marks on a definition in the GCSE exam. Tip number 4 is to identify the types or patterns of questions that you are getting wrong. Essentially, once you identify the type, for instance, if you're getting calculation questions wrong, make sure you do more practice for those physics or maths questions, the calculation based subjects that you're struggling with. Or if you are bad at definitions, if you can't regurgitate information directly, make sure that you make a change to your study system. For instance, use your Anki flashcards, use physical flashcards. Make sure you are self-reflective, alright? Make sure you understand what you're bad at, what you're good at, and make changes appropriately to fit your situation. And lastly, tip number 5, which I think is the most important tip and something that a lot of people miss out on, knowing and understanding, is that past papers are for understanding. They're not, something that you just use for the sake of using it. And also the number of past papers that you do does not matter whatsoever. Like, you should not be focusing on the number of past papers that you do. You should be focusing on the quality with which you do those questions, do those past papers. So make sure that from every single past paper you have something to take away. So once you do a past paper, write down 3 things that you have learned from doing that past paper. Make sure that you actually actively learn from your mistakes and don't repeat the same thing in the next past paper. If you're noticing that you're repeating the same mistake in the next past paper, that means you haven't, reflected on the mistake that you made in the first place in the previous past paper. So make sure that you are reflective, make sure that you're tracking down your mistakes, and just go with the flow. Don't worry about the number of past papers, focus on the quality rather than quantity. And that is it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, do make sure to like, share and subscribe to Biologue. I wish you guys all the very best for your GCSEs or any other upcoming exams that you've got, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day.